Alright, I'm gonna admit, Black Clover be slapping. Before we hop into this discussion on Black Clover, please do me a favor and leave your own thoughts on the manga in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'm Pencil, and here we are to talk about Black Clover and why I think it's great, even if it has an admittedly very slow start. Now, here's the thing. I've been told to read Black Clover a lot. Here's the thing. I remember seeing the first chapter of Black Clover come out forever ago, like a long time ago. I'm pretty sure it was on Shonen Jump or somewhere. It was on the manga site I was reading, and I saw the first chapter and I just completely ignored it. I don't know. I'm very weird. I don't pick up manga instantaneously. I'm very much a wait for it to come out for a while and then I'll catch up later. So I had seen Black Clover, I just let it rock. I hadn't talked about it, I hadn't done anything about it, I didn't read it, so I just let it go. Then the first season of the anime came out. It looked kind of interesting to me, but I was like, whatever, I'll leave it be. Then I saw, I believe it was a Nux Taco video on, I think he was praising it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I still didn't end up reading it though. There was just like, for some reason, there was just a mental block in my head that was like, don't read Black Clover. Not yet. But for some reason, I was just like, I'll keep pushing it off. I'll keep pushing it off. I'll read it later. Something like that. It's basically, Black Clover got One Piece so hard. Because I've also known about One Piece forever. And I still haven't read it yet, though. I do have to. Because not only have y'all been asking for it, but a friend of mine has been pestering me for like the past 4 years. So I do actually have to go ahead and read One Piece. That's probably going to be after Black Clover. And yes, I also need to read Fairy Tail. That once again will also probably be after Black Clover. And maybe after One Piece. I don't know. It depends on my reading pace. But essentially, I'm glad I started reading Black Clover. It's very, very good. I literally stopped at the first 100 chapters. I was initially going to consume it all. Like I consumed all of Jujutsu Kaisen. But I'm pacing myself a little bit better. I want to make this video. I'm 100 chapters deep. So please don't spoil anything beyond that point. I don't know where that is in the anime. I didn't watch the anime. Y'all know I'm that guy with a pencil. I'm not that guy with a... I don't know. Like, what do animators use? I guess they use pencils. But still, please don't spoil. I just got to that point, and I'm not going to spoil anything in the video either. I'm just going to talk about what I really like about the series and what I think it could improve on. However, it probably already has improved on, because once again, I'm only 100 chapters deep. So there's probably improvements by the mangaka that's already there that I'm probably going to talk about here. And don't even tell me if they improve. Honestly, this is just me telling you about what I've read so far, if I like it. And honestly, me recommending you to go out and read it. If you're like me and you've just seen Black Clover in passing, you're just like, maybe it's not worth the read. It is worth the read. 100%. Before we get into the video at all, please go read it. It's great. It's wonderful. And here's the thing. I like Black Clover's current state, like around 100 chapters in. I'll admit though, the first chapter nearly made me sucker punch it and drop it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The first chapter felt so basic, so generic, so it just felt whack to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And to be fair, this is after me recently reading Fire Force. So for some reason, I felt like I got the hardest sense of deja vu. And I don't know why. It's probably because of Fire Force and just obviously all the other shonen manga I've read. But still, at the same time, the first chapter just didn't do it for me. I don't think the first 5 chapters really did it for me. But after that point, the series just grabs this momentum, grabs you by the throat, and then it just doesn't let it go. And I think one of my main favorite aspects of Black Clover is the fact that the main character is the main character in that sense, meaning he may not ever die, he has super secret powers, he's different from everybody else. But the thing is, he alone cannot solve every problem. If you remove the side characters from certain scenarios, our main character would have lost. Usually when it's the opposite, where you have to remove the side characters from the scenario or else the main character would lose. And I love that. It's weird little stuff like that that goes contrary to the modern shonen narrative. Well, not even just the modern shonen narrative, the narrative of shonen in general, where usually it's always the one big bad hero that comes in and then, you know, they save the day for the power fulfillment fantasy. But the thing is, Asta is a good main character because he stacks up to what he says. Like, the thing is, Naruto says, I can only do this with the support of my friends, but his friends are really there in spirit. Goku says, oh, my friends have gotten me this far. But really, his friends just, I mean, they're tools for his growth and stuff like that, and they help him get angry, but they don't ever really fight alongside him. But in Asta's case, these people are necessary to a lot of, if not pretty much all of his victories. And that's almost every single character, even the characters at first I didn't like. And that's stuff that's impressive. That is stuff that really allows the series to feel more like it's actively promoting its message. And that's another thing I didn't like about the series so far at its inception, or like in the first couple chapters. It was very much a tell don't show kind of series. Like we heard, oh, Asta has no magic, he's prejudiced, so he goes through all this suffering, blah 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 blah. And at first, it was just a whole ton of telling, and I didn't like that. But I feel like the mangaka figured that out, and he's really bearing down on a lot of the societal he's bearing down a lot of the societal inequalities that he's mentioned early on in the manga. He's showing us this. It's actually present. It's affecting our main characters. It's affecting all of the characters in the show. Like, this society is once again almost a My Hero type of thing, where it's written very, very well because it feels real. And in the My Hero world, the reason I say that society is written so well is because it feels like people react realistically. And to be fair, the My Hero Academia world is just our world with superpowers, literally our modern world. However, Black Clover is a world that we are completely disconnected from, unless y'all got some medieval magic knights hidden somewhere that I just don't know about. So the thing is, I wouldn't expect it to feel as realistic as it did, and I wouldn't expect it to feel as present and tangible as it is, especially considering how difficult that would be. But the mangaka does a fantastic job of making the world still feel connected to our world through prejudice and hatred and injustice and stuff like that, and wicked people existing everywhere on the good guy's side and on the bad guy's side. Meanwhile, there's also this sense of real, is it weird to say community? The world feels real. This is a place that I feel has rich history and lore and stuff that I can dive into. It has a history to it in of itself, but I can still understand the fundamental aspects of it because it's so relatable to human life. It's that weird thing where it's I know this is all fake, but I feel like the mangaka could just go deeper and deeper and wind deeper, dig deeper into this world. And there's already been a lot of stuff explained, and that's the thing. I'm only 100 chapters deep, and I feel like I have a better understanding of this world than I do of worlds that I love, like Seven Deadly Sins world. I feel like I barely know anything about. There's a whole ton of lore I know, but there's so much mystery surrounding that world. And while there's so much mystery surrounding the Black Clover world, it's still a world that in itself feels tangible. It feels real, and I think that's very, very good for the manga to do, especially only 100 chapters deep and so many questions still left unanswered. That's very, very good. And another thing I happen to I like the idea of magic and how it works within the world of Black Clover. Unlike magic systems in other worlds where you sort of just learn it, and done son, you may be able to learn a new spell, you may be able to amp up your previous spell or something like that. The way that magic functions in the Black Clover world is sort of a way of, as you grow as a character, you grow in power. And literally, as in you learn new spells based on your character development. It's not like a situation in Dragon Ball or Seven Deadly Sins where a character gets angry and suddenly Super Saiyan or Demon Mark, something like that. It's more so along the lines of Goku, or I'm using Goku as an example. But let's say Goku had a major revelation. After fighting Frieza, he realizes that he has to kill villains or else they'll pose a threat, and some people just can't change. Due to that development in his ideology, he would turn around and develop a new ability, and thus he would eradicate Frieza. Something like that, where instead of just more raw power being activated, it's their power being used in a new scenario. And I think that's great because it essentially allows the series to keep growing in power, but at the same time keeping everybody relevant, because at a moment's notice, someone's new skill can happen to fit perfectly into a scenario, even if they themselves weren't as powerful before. And that can supplement the situation, and that can make them the saving grace of the entire situation. I love how Black Clover essentially makes it so that their power system allows everybody to be relevant somehow. Not everyone has to be a frontline crazy top tier fighter. They can be support, and that support can be just as vital as the frontier fighter. I love that no one is unnecessary. It's not in some series like My Hero Academia, or some series like Dragon Ball, or some series like Naruto, or some series basically name a whole bunch of series that just have characters that end up being useless. And that's a lot of series out there. And so far, I don't know, only 100 chapters deep, so maybe this could change. But so far, every character that's been here, except with some minor exceptions, has been necessary. We couldn't do certain things without a character being there. And this is in big battles. This is in top tier. We need this. This is important plot, story, magic stuff. We need this person here. And if we remove one person, then suddenly the whole plan falls apart. And they can't do it. And I love that. Because the idea of teamwork and the idea of this system feeding into the teamwork, it's a beautiful system, and I love how it interacts with the characters, and love how the characters interact with it. The mangaka, hold on, let me just Tabata Sensei does a fantastic job at not only making a world, he does a fantastic job at making characters, he does a fantastic job of making a magic system or a power system in general, and how it feeds into the characters. He basically makes everything interloop into itself, and that is such a complicated thing to do. Like, honestly, completely, it's a bit insane to me how complicated it is, but how much I love it for how complicated it is. Like, the amount of mental fortitude it takes to make sure that every character has a relevant ability for a specific situation and that they can use it in that situation. It's great. It's great. I respect that so much, especially considering how difficult it has to be. And last thing I gotta praise, the artwork. And now here's the thing. This artwork finds a nice balance between your My Hero Academia and your Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, it's very beautiful artwork. It's very well detailed, but you can tell it almost has that like medieval scroll hint to it. Like, I'm definitely going to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen art in its own video and why I think the manga sort of does a bit better than the anime in terms of matching the type of story it's trying to tell. But in terms of what I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen's artwork, people complain about being choppy, people complain about it seeming rushed and stuff like that, but I feel like that fits the grittier nature of the story it's telling. Same way I feel like My Hero Academia do, the lighter nature of the story it's telling with the darker themes still works with a highly detailed but still stylized artwork. The way that Tabata Sensei drew Black Clover was sort of like you're reading a medieval tale, but with enough stylized modern anime aesthetic that it matches the modern anime world. Like, it's still beautiful in of its own right, but it still feels like you're reading a medieval tale. It's a weird balance. I don't know. It's weird to describe. Like, that's the thing. Despite drawing a lot, I have no idea how to really describe artwork, but it feels like a mix I've only really seen done well, like this well, at least in Seven Deadly Sins, where the mangaka seems to magically fit his art style into the time period, so it feels like you're reading something more ancient that matches the more medieval aesthetic and magic and knights and stuff like that, but at the same time it manages to fit into the modern era of anime and manga. It's a weird thing and I'm not exactly sure how to describe, but I think it's great. However, you may have noticed, I think Black Clover is great. I don't think it's perfect. And to be fair, I don't think anything's perfect. I will nitpick anything. It's that fun fact. If you're new to the channel, I will nitpick anything and everything that I can get my hands on. But the thing is, I have like some minor issues with Black Clover. One of the major issues I have is, and I guess it's a weird thing that sort of balances itself out. But everyone is on that Asta train. Like, everyone wants a piece of Asta. Like, that whole 4 feet of them. Like, everyone wants it. And I guess it only works out. I will only give it the slightest of passes because Asta's just not paying any mind to it. I'm not sure if it's like, oh haha, a dumb main character doesn't notice his friends even though he's very attentive to their needs at all other times, and or he's just blinded by Sister. I think Sister Lily. Yeah, I think it's Sister Lily. I feel like he may be aware of it to some degree because he is a socially attuned dude. Like, he knows a lot of things about his friends and how to deal with them, even just 100 chapters in. So I feel like he does notice. He may be half oblivious, he half knows, and also his judgment is blinded by Sister Lee, someone he can actually never get with, which is hilarious to me. I don't know, it's a running gag that I didn't think I'd find funny, but every single time it's brought up, I laugh a little bit. That's another thing I like. I like the little weird mini portraits that he does. Like, almost every single mangaka does it with their characters. Like, they have like the little thing that's supposed to be funny, like Asta's weird glowing eyes, Yudo's flat face. Like, I love little stupid stuff like that. But regardless of that, that's one of the main issues I have. Everyone's on that Asta for president. No, Asta for Wizard King 2024, or I don't know, like pre 2024 BC or something like that. I don't know. And the thing is, it just kind of annoys me, but at the same time, it works out well enough that I'm like, fine, I'll let it slide. And the only other problem I really have with it is that Yami isn't in it enough. I need more Yami. Mainly because, like, I like Yami, so I want more of him, but he's not there enough. He's the interesting case where he is both a background element and a main element, 100% depending on the situation. Like, he's in a lot of characters' backstories, but I'm not going to go into that. It's just that he's there a lot in the past, and he can also be there a lot in the present, but it's a weird mix. It's not perfectly balanced as all things should be, and I think a character like him are sort of like, is it weird to call him the Kakashi of the series? Like the Kakashi / the Gojo / the strong mentor character for everybody. I feel like he needs to be around a bit more. Once again, only 100 chapters in. Maybe the balance will shift a bit more. But honestly, if I'm being real, those are my only 2 main issues. Also, The only other thing is, like, there is no real overarching plot other than, like, oh no, we have to deal with things I don't want to spoil. Like, there's nothing. Our characters are almost on this, like, Naruto mission basis, where the plot itself is, like, there's a giant end goal for our main character, but there's no, like, there's very little cohesion. Like, there are two main plots that may be intertwining that, once again, I don't know about. I'm only 100 chapters deep. And I think that's supposed to be our overarching story, but that's the thing. Everything seems to leap from... That's the thing I like, too, because I like how each individual arc can, like, focus on its own little set of characters or its own character. So, I'm not sure if that's a problem. I think it isn't. I think it, because I love character. I love character way too much. I'm definitely going to do a video of character versus story where I talk about why I like character more. But... And never mind, it's not even a problem. I just thought about that. Those are if that's my only problem. I don't like that the main character is getting shipped with everyone in canon instead of, like, in fan canon. And I may have some problems with the lack of, like, an overhaul cohesive narrative. And I just think everything else is great. You can tell I'm, like, picking at straws. And I still really, really enjoy the manga. But that's enough of me talking about it. What do you think about Black Clover? If you've read it, please don't spoil. Or watched it, please don't spoil. I know, like, the manga, the anime just had to end because I think it caught up to the manga, which is wild to me. But on that front, just please don't spoil your boy. Like, I'm actually really, really enjoying it. And of course, I knew some things going in just through cultural osmosis. Like, I couldn't avoid some stuff. But be careful. If you're going to spoil anything about the manga, this is more so, like, a half me telling you about it, half me, like, asking people who haven't read it to go read it. So please, if you're going to drop anything story related up to 100 chapters deep, even just 100 chapters deep, please drop a spoiler tag in the comments. If you're going to talk about that, don't just instantly drop some meaty spoilers. And for me too, like, I don't want anything to be spoiled. I'm super excited to keep reading. So that's all from me. And let me, whoa, I don't know what that fake outro was trying to be. That's all for me. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think you're going to read it now if you haven't read it? If you have read it, do you like it as much as I do? Are there other problems you have? Please tell me all that in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off.